Amy Hwang left a secure full-time job in architecture to follow what many might consider a dream job, drawing cartoons for The New Yorker. A dream perhaps, but one that came with challenges and understandable concerns. In this talk from 2019, Amy uses her artwork to show the lessons that changed her life and might change yours.
I have what many people would say is a dream job. I get to draw cartoons for The New Yorker. Each week, I come up with several ideas, I draw them up, and I email them to my cartoon editor. And if I'm lucky, the magazine will buy one of them. This is one from several years ago. I'm saving for when I get a low-paying job doing what I love. If anyone here is considering an artistic path like drawing cartoons, I recommend starting an aggressive savings plan at age 6. Unfortunately, for me, when I was that age, I didn't think I would become a cartoonist. I started drawing cartoons on a whim when I was a freshman in college. I drew them for the school paper, and I saw it as a diversion, but not a profession. And I was partly correct, because drawing cartoons doesn't necessarily pay a living wage. Because it's not a regular paycheck, most New Yorker cartoonists supplement their cartoon incomes with other work. And my other work was a full-time job in architecture. This job paid my bills, it provided health insurance. It also was a source of inspiration for many office-themed cartoon ideas, like these. This lying desk is better for my laziness. I don't mind summer being over because all I did was stay indoors and work. And this one, the lady's about to enter a meeting. And she's thinking, pretend I care, pretend I care. And my job, it wasn't so bad. It really wasn't that awful. But compared to drawing cartoons, it was soul-crushing. So last year, I left my job so that I could concentrate on drawing more cartoons. And this wasn't an impulsive decision. I had mulled it over in my mind for over a year. I told others my thoughts, and eventually I was creating budget spreadsheets, projecting into the next 10 years. But it wasn't enough just to plan. My main obstacle was convincing myself that I didn't need a job in order to live a sustainable life. And I realize now that the ways of thinking I used to change my perception are similar to how I come up with my cartoon ideas. So today I'm going to talk about how these ways of thinking helped me make the decision to leave my job. I think cartoonists are good at seeing the world in a way that cuts to the truth of a matter. We see incongruities and bring them to light. Here we have a cartoon of a couple shopping for grocery stores, or shopping for dog food, sorry. And the woman is asking the man, are we maximizing our time together or minimizing our efforts? This cartoon was very loosely inspired by a second date that I went on with a very busy person. And possibly it was the fact that I also was a very busy person that led me to this idea. Things that don't make sense make great cartoons because they point out the futility of certain pursuits. For cartoons, changing the perspective adds an unexpected element to commonly held thoughts. Sometimes I'll take an everyday scene and I'll imagine another possibility. I'm a single mom. I have a child with special needs who will likely require care for the rest of her life. Having the security of an office job with benefits seemed like the only way to live given my circumstances. Instead of seeing my office job as my primary source of income, I started to look at it as my primary use of time. Was sitting in an office 8 hours a day, plus travel time, worth it if it meant I would be doing something that kept me from building on my cartoon career? I failed to see that I would have more freedom and flexibility in my life if I strove for a cartoon career that gave me control over how I lived. By inserting a plausible and more optimistic possibility, I realized that if I could make this happen, the risk could be worth taking. And in the end, after doing all these things to reframe my situation, I saw that the big risk would be to do nothing. Because to do nothing would be depriving myself of doing something. And once I saw this, I left my job fairly quickly, and I didn't plan on going back. And in the 8 months since I left my job, I have continued to act in ways that I never thought possible for myself. I gave away the majority of my wardrobe. I started exercising. After not exercising for over 20 years, I agreed to do this talk. And going back to when I had first started my last office job, I thought I would be there for 20 to 30 more years, and then I would retire. That was the expected trajectory. But despite having that job as a constant in my life, everything else kept changing. And you will see that situations in your life will keep changing as well. But one thing you can control is how you think. And you can use the ways you think to see a situation differently. And you will then have the agency to create your own big changes in your life.